everybody. This is Boy Can He Dance, and this is by Eileen Spinelli, and it's illustrated by Paul Yalowitz. Boy Can He Dance. Many years ago, Tony's grandfather had been chef at the city hotel. He had created graceful ice sculptures. He had designed perfect pink raspberry molds and white frosted wedding cakes. He had even learned to cook the mayor's favorite, bean soup. Now, Tony's father was chef in the same kitchen of the same hotel. And when it came time for Tony to begin to think about what he wanted to do with his life, his father said, "Think about food." "Eating?" asked Tony. "No, cooking," said Tony's father. This would have made great sense except for one thing. Tony did not want to think about cooking. He wanted to think about dancing. Even before Tony learned to walk, he was dancing. An infant dance, kicking his legs and waving his arms so hard that his crib rolled from one side of the room to the other. The first day Tony stood up, he started dancing. He danced everywhere. He danced all the time. He danced in the basement and in the attic. He danced at breakfast and in the bathtub. He danced in the backyard and up to the candy store. He even danced on the school bus. That is, until Mr. Wilson, the driver, told him none too politely to sit down. "Dancing is fine," Tony's father would say. "I dance myself with your mother once a year on New Year's Eve." Then, waving his favorite wooden spoon, he would continue, "But I didn't earn my way in the world by dancing, and neither did your grandfather." And so early one Saturday morning, Tony's father took Tony to the city hotel. "If you're going to be a chef when you grow up," he said, "you might as well start learning the business." Tony's father dumped a pile of lemons on the table. "Maybe you should begin by squeezing lemons for the pies." Tony did not feel like squeezing lemons, but he didn't want to disappoint his father either, and so he began. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And the squeezing got him to tapping. And the tapping got him to dancing. As he danced, he juggled lemons. Tony sailed through the air, juggling lemons, right smack into a waiter carrying a tray of empty dishes. Crash! The dishes shattered across the floor. Plop, plop, plop. 3 lemons fell right onto the waiter's head. "Who is that?" growled the waiter. "That's my son," sighed Tony's father, taking Tony by the hand. "Maybe you'd better chop carrots for the soup." Tony stood in front of the big chopping block table and began. Chop, chop, chop. And then the chopping got him to tapping, and the tapping got him to dancing. Round and round the table he danced, right smack into the woman who brewed the coffee. "Who is that?" she asked, quite annoyed. "Oh, that's my son," Tony's father said. "Tony," he said, "please peel these potatoes and please stand still." Tony's father dumped a mountain of potatoes at Tony's feet. Tony did not like peeling potatoes, But he didn't want to disappoint his father either, so he began, scrape, scrape, scrape. And the scraping got him to tapping, and the tapping got him to dancing up one side of the potato mountain and down the other, right smack into the man who scrubbed pots. "Who is that?" the man demanded, not too happily. "That's my son," sighed Tony's father. He took Tony aside. "This dancing has to stop." "The dancing must go on," cried the hotel manager. Mr. Casey bursting into the kitchen. He was clearly upset, and whenever Mr. Casey was upset, he'd burst into the kitchen to grumble, complain, and eat cream puffs. Biting into a cream puff, he told of his problem. One of the dancers for that night's show had called in sick. "I've tried everywhere to get a replacement. Oh, my head! Oh, my nerves! Oh, pass me another cream puff." Tony tugged on Mr. Casey's arm. "I can dance." Mr. Casey stopped stuffing his mouth. "Who is that?" "Oh, that's my son," sighed Tony's father. "I brought him in to learn to cook." "Does he really dance?" "Yup," said the waiter. "He dances," exclaimed the woman who brewed the coffee. "Boy, does he dance," said the man who washed the pots. And with that, Tony jumped up on the table and began dancing. He danced and twirled and kicked and spun until everyone was dizzy. Mr. Casey looked at Tony's father. "Mind if I borrow your son?" "Please do," called the waiter. For the rest of the day, Tony's father cooked. He seasoned 700 French fries. He stirred gallons of carrot soup. He baked 9 lovely hams with cherries and pineapples. He made a towering, shimmering salad of cucumbers and lime jello, and 20 lemon meringue pies. That night, 200 people came to the banquet at the City Hotel. They ate everything that was served, and many of them said to the waiter, "My compliments to the chef," which was music to Tony's father's ears. But Tony was hearing a different music. All day he had been practicing with the other dancers. Now, with the dinner over, he stood behind the curtain of the City Hotel's stage. The orchestra began to play. As the curtain went up, Tony began to dance. He kicked and twirled and kicked and danced and spun around. Tony's father watched from the open kitchen door. The man who ran the dishwasher watched too. "Who is that?" he asked. "That's my son," beamed Tony's father. "And boy, can he dance." That was Boy Can He Dance. It was written by Eileen Spinelli and illustrated by Yalowitz.